Good evening, campers, and welcome aboard the Starship Nightwish. I'm Commander Exorcist, and we've got a few things to go through today. Let's get started right into it. First thing I want to do, as always, is say a big thank you to the disciples. These are the people that keep my content going. Thank you for your continued patronage. If you'd like to support the channel, patreon.com/Commander Exorcist. I would love to have you on board. Every little bit helps. This helps the channel content as well as content on all my social media and keeps me free of the YouTube tyranny, their algorithm, and all that fun stuff. So, before we get started with today's article, and it's quite a doozy, I want to talk about this, okay? There have been moments in history where greatness just seemingly materialized out of thin air, I guess you could say. I mean, the Mona Lisa, the Last Supper, and this. I love this image. If you have not had a chance to see Frontiers 3308 Elite Dangerous holiday live stream, go check it out. It has an interview with David Braben. It is one of the best live streams I've ever seen this company do for Elite, and a large part of it has to do with the chemistry of the community team with the development team, Dav, the server admin, and the community itself. There's an intense amount of positivity around Elite right now because there's some amazing things happening. And I think this photo, I love this capture because this capture really encapsulates, I think, how we all feel at the moment. There's a little bit of sarcasm, there's happiness and joy, and then you can see the pure deviousness in Dav's eyes staring straight into the screen. So, awesome stuff. Thank you, Frontier, for my particular feature and for all of the community members that you featured. Commander Picard, the Fuel Rats, Hull Seals, Burr Pit, all of those guys. It's all super cool to be a part of this community. I'm excited. But today, that's not what you're here for. You're here for this. Our Empress has spoken. The Emperor himself, herself, forgive me, Lord. The Emperor herself has spoken. Let's see what she's got to say. We're a far cry from the darkest days of humanity about a week ago. We are into the voice of the Empire today. This came out on Galnet earlier today. On the Empire's homeworld capital, fears over the imminent Thargoid invasion sparked a public gathering outside the Imperial Palace. People are panicking. They should be. It's obvious that nowhere is safe. So, and the superpowers still have not announced a cohesive, coherent, combined plan. So it's legit for people to get a little anxious and to be on the front doors saying, hey, could you please say something? Please say something to us. Cassia Carvajal, a political journalist for the Imperial Herald, reported from the scene. The arrival of the Thargoid maelstroms has triggered protest on many allied, federal, and imperial worlds. The Empire is rarely troubled by such disruption, so the spontaneous march by tens of thousands of citizens through the capital streets caught the media and security services by surprise. She's right. The Empire prides itself on order and discipline. And so when you have citizens marching through the street demanding answers from the Emperor, it's a sign that there's some serious discord in general around the Empire. Breaks my heart. Chancellor Anders Blaine addressed the crowd, his image projected above us all. He spoke of the Imperial Navy's swift response to the Thargoid threat, making assurances that our systems were protected and we were all safe. You know, I get it. I get why they'd say that, but we just, those of us in the trenches know it's not true. Nobody is safe. But this wasn't enough to quell the increasingly strident demands that more should be done. I saw anger, frustration, and fear etched into those shouting faces. The newsfeed images of burning and broken starports, of Thargoid vessels laying waste to ordinary people's homes, were all too clear in everyone's minds. Yes, they are. I genuinely wasn't sure which way this impromptu demonstration would go. Might the crowd's strong emotions even transmute into violence? And then a new voice rang out across the square. Here's where it gets good. Stick with me. The unmistakable tones of Emperor Arissa Laveni Duval herself, standing tall as she slowly descended the palace steps toward us. Not an image, not a projection, but the actual Emperor herself made an appearance and had some words. So we're going to read those. If you're sitting down, you may want to stand out of respect for the words of the Emperor to sing. Remember this, we are Imperials, she told her people, her commanding voice amplified for all to hear. The crowd parted in silence as she neared, allowing her to stride amongst us. We possess the strongest civilization, the grandest achievements, and the most courageous hearts. We shall meet anything that dares to threaten us, human or alien, and we will defeat it. Our empire will endure. By the end of her address, which lasted some 10 minutes, emotions had indeed been transmuted into exultant, cheering jubilation. Our emperor has stood with us in person, reminded us of our heritage and our duty. The Thargoids will undoubtedly come. I'm going to stop right there real quick because we're almost done, but that is very important. The Thargoids will undoubtedly come. If anything that we do over the coming months, if there's anything that we say or anything that we tell ourselves, if you wake up in the morning and you're uncertain about things, know one thing. The Thargoids are coming. No one is safe. But in that moment, we were determined to face them together, and we will, and we should. So, basically, this is hopefully, in my opinion, hopefully this is the start of the corporate movement, of the bureaucratic system starting to churn. This is what we need. You know, the Federation and the Alliance, they need to do the same thing. Their leadership needs to do the same thing. Now, the Empire obviously has its culture and its way of doing things that are different than the Federation and the Alliance. But each one of those superpowers, their leadership needs to get out and rally their people in the same way, in the way that speaks to them. Getting out and I hate to be isolationist about it, because really I'm not about that. I'm more of a, I'm about the imperial glory, but I see that at this point the Empire faces an existential threat if it doesn't cooperate with the other superpowers. But I recognize the value of that of those imperial words, of that poise and that prestige and that encouragement that we are the Empire. We will endure. She will endure. Bask in her glory. It has carried us through so many things before, and it will carry us on. And so I think that the superpowers, the other superpowers, need to do the same thing. The Federation needs to get out there and talk about whatever politics makes people happy. The Alliance needs to get out there, talk about whatever hand-holding and stuff that they like to do that makes people happy. But each of these superpowers need to start encouraging their people, because one of the most dangerous things in war is destroyed morale. That's why you have psychological operations, and war's not always won with bombs. There's espionage and counter-espionage, and there's psychological operations and things that are designed to demoralize your civilization to the point where you just don't want to fight anymore. You have the physical capability to pick up a gun and fight, but you just don't want to anymore because the psychological toll is just too much. And so this stuff is very important as in building a strong psychological foundation. I call it, it's in the 21st century military, we call it pre-exposure. And rallying the troops. You want to make sure that people are aware of what they're getting into. You don't want to sugarcoat it. You want to be realistic about it. The Thargoids are coming. We're not going to hide that from you. They could come to your doorstep, and so you should be prepared, but know that we are doing everything we can to protect you and to protect the people out there that are in harm's way. And so, great stuff from the Empire. There are still opportunities. If you're looking to contribute to the war effort, you don't have to pull a trigger. You don't have to fight. There are rescue missions. There's support missions. There's research. They're still paying God awful amounts of money for scanning fungus fungus and all kinds of cool fungus type stuffs on planet surfaces. So there's plenty of opportunities and ways for you people to get out there and to contribute to the war effort. So, if shooting is not your thing, maybe something else can contribute to that. And so that is really the article for today. It's kind of quick. There was a few other things that I wanted to talk about. I talked about the live stream. But the final thing that I want to say is thank you. Thank you all for this past year. This channel has absolutely exploded beyond anything that I ever could have imagined. It's still tiny, but when you consider that I'm just a dude in a hat that reads Galnet articles and films distant planets in Elite Dangerous, it's pretty good, actually. So, but I couldn't do it without you guys. And so I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, from the crew of the Nightwish, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And this is my last video for the year. I will see you all in the new year, 3309. Lots of cool stuff going on. Lots of great things about to happen. And I just can't wait to get out there and do it, see it, experience it. Our world's in trouble, but we're going to fight for it because it's worth fighting for. Never forget that. Fly safe, Commanders. 07, and I will see you out there.